Did you ever want to replace a bland or distracting image background? In this video, we'll do just that, and we'll learn more about layer masking in the process. We'll start with this photo from the practice files of an art piece by a wood artist. Let's replace its background with a more interesting shot from the artist's studio. The first step is to bring in another background image. To do that, go up to the File menu, choose Place Embedded, and navigate to this image and click Place. Go to the Options bar and click the check mark. Over in the Layers panel, there's a brand new layer with the new image. We need to drag that new layer beneath the original background layer. But we can't do that because the background layer is a locked layer. If you just wanted to unlock this layer, you could click this lock icon. But if you want to unlock the layer and rename it all in one step, then select the background layer by clicking on it, and then right-click or hold down the Control key and click if you're on a Mac, and choose Layer from Background. And in the New Layer dialog box that appears, type a new name for this layer. I'll call it Pencil, and then click OK. Now select the Replace Background layer and click, hold, and drag beneath the pencil layer. You can release your finger from the mouse or trackpad when you see a double line under the pencil layer. The next thing we're going to do is make a selection of the background, and at that point you could delete it from the image completely, but that would be a permanent change and wouldn't leave you very much editing flexibility. To do it a more flexible way, we're going to use a selection with a layer mask. To see what I mean, click on the pencil layer in the Layers panel. Go over to the Tools panel and select the Quick Selection tool. Now you could select either the foreground object or the background, so just click and drag over the background to select it. Before we apply a layer mask, we need to have the item that we want to show, not the item that we want to hide, selected. So we need to invert this selection. Go up to the Select menu and choose Inverse. Now go to the Layers panel and click the Create New Layer Mask icon at the bottom of that panel. That was a real time saver because Photoshop not only created a layer mask, it also filled in the area that wasn't selected on that layer mask with black. And where a layer mask is black, it hides the content on the layer to which it's attached, the pencil layer. Where a layer mask is white, it shows the content on that layer. On this mask, the white is showing the pencil and the black is hiding the pencil, so we can see down through to the new background layer below. If you're happy with that result, you're done. You've achieved your goal of replacing the background image. But here's a bonus option. You can try to fine-tune the mask to make it look even better. To do that, go up to the Select menu and choose Select and Mask. That opens the image with the mask applied here in the special Select and Mask workspace. Earlier in this tutorial series, we visited this workspace when we were fine-tuning a selection. Now we're fine-tuning a mask, which is very similar. First, let's click on the View menu and choose the way we'll view the image in this workspace. I'm going to choose on Layers, which will let us see exactly how the pencil will look against the new background layer as we adjust the mask. I'll click on a blank area to close the View menu, and then I'll go to the Global Refinements section of this dialog box. Here there are sliders that often work well when you're trying to isolate a hard-edged image, like this pencil. Keep your eye on this white halo along the edge of the pencil that we want to remove. As I go to the Shift Edge slider and I move it to the left. And what I'm doing is contracting the mask so that it's hiding that edge. You also can try dragging the Smooth slider to the right to smooth out the edge of that mask. And I might try dragging the Contrast slider to the right to make the edge along the pencil a little more contrasty or crisp. When you're done with the sliders, scroll down and make sure the Output menu is set to Layer Mask, and then click OK. And that modifies the layer mask that we already had applied to the pencil layer. One last thing. Notice that there's a link icon between the layer mask thumbnail and the image thumbnail on the pencil layer. That means that if we were to move the pencil layer, the layer mask would go with it. Go over to the Tools panel and get the Move tool, and then click on the pencil and drag it over to the right. Now all that's left to do is to save the image, and you want to be sure to use the Save As command and save in the Photoshop the PSD format, so that you retain your layers and this layer mask so that you have the flexibility to come back in the future and fine-tune your layer mask further if you want to.